Hello, my name is Abdallah Reda. I'm Egyptian. I'm a student in secondary 2. Today we'll start to explain our subject of computer for this year. And our subject this year mainly talks about databases and Microsoft Access. And we will begin with chapter 1, which talks about key concepts, or principles for the databases that we will deal with this year. And the first point here in our chapter today is the meaning of the word data. So that data are considered the raw materials, such as the readings of the gauges, the items found on the ID card, or the signs which are transmitted by means of transmitters and received by receivers. In other words, data are considered the raw materials which we feel directly with our senses, such as the facial changes, the head nodding, and so on. At last, we can say that data are the raw materials for the information, and accordingly, we have to know what does information mean. And here, information is the result of the processing of data in order to extract out their content or what they refer to, such as signs and so on. In order to show this, we'll draw a diagram saying that there is data, input, then it's processed in order to yield information. Output. So that when data is processed, information is produced. And we have here another point saying that data affects the attitudes and the decisions of decision makers and normal individuals. And to illustrate this, we'll say that, for example, if you have cotton here as an input, then it enters a factory in order to be processed or manufactured to yield cotton cloth. Here, my result or my output depends on the input, so that when I let the cotton into the factory, it yielded cotton cloth. But if this input is changed, for example, into wool, then I'll have wool cloth. And accordingly, the data affects or changes the attitudes of the decision makers and the normal individuals, so that when I predict that I will yield something, I must know my input, so that if my input is changed, my prediction will change also. That's all for this point, and we'll go to the next point, which talks about tables. And of course, all of us knows tables. Because when we open Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel, we can deal with tables easily, but tables here in the concept of databases are a bit different, so that we can consider tables as vessels where we pour the data into in order to get them back in the time of need in order to take a certain decision. And here in the databases, tables, as we know, consist of columns and rows. But here in the database concept, the names are different. so that we get the row named a record, and we get the column named a field. For example, if we have here, this is the head of the table, and we have here name, age, city, salary. We have here A, B, B, C, age 30, 31, 32, city, Cairo, Alex, Giza, and salary 1,000, 1,500, and 1,700. Here there is an example for a table, and this is a record, and this is a field. So we can notice that a record contains different types of data. So we get here a name, age, Cairo, here a city, salary 1,000, different types of data. So that we can say a record contains integrated types of data, while the field here, or the column, contains one type of data. It has only one type, names only, ages only, cities only, salaries only, and so on. Now we knew how tables look like in the databases. Then we will talk now about the databases themselves. And we have to know the meaning of the databases, so that databases are a group of tables, or one table, in which data is stored for the aim of retrieving them back in order to take a certain decision. For example, if we have a school, here, and there are different school years. For example, first primary, second primary, third primary, and each year contains different classes. For example, class A, 1, A2, and A3, and so on. And every class contains students. So, if this school makes a database, the database will have, for example, if there are only 3 years here in this school, there are 3 tables, first primary, second primary, third primary. In each table there are classes, and here in every class there will be students, and every student has certain data. So, if I want to know if a certain student had paid the expenditures or not, I'll go into the database of the school, see the information found here about this student. I'll go into his school year, his class, then his name, and see the information about him found in the database. So the database help institutions to carry out their function in a good manner in order to retrieve decisions and get results easily. And of course, databases have a lot of advantages. in order to let them be very familiar nowadays, so that we can easily store, manage and index data in the databases. We can view the data in the view of forms or reports in order to analyze them easily and take decisions. We can also make forms inside the database in order to enter the data or enter the new data easily inside the database. We can also update data inside the databases easily, so that we can remove the old data and put newer ones, and so on. We'll go to another point. Here, find our lesson, the types of databases. And here, the databases are classified according to the view which they are viewed with, so that we have hierarchical database models, hierarchical databases, network databases, and relational databases. And this is the one, the third one here, is the one that we will deal with this year, because it represents the modern trend in the databases nowadays. And those ones are not widely used, or they are old-fashioned. And I think this is enough for today, and we will complete chapter 1 next time. We'll talk about the advantages of this type and know what programs that are used in order to deal with the databases. And until now, thank you for watching, and see you next time.